And it looked like the Indiana Fever front office is in serious trouble for revealing some major information. Guys, how come I'm not seeing no scouts, bro? Where the scouting department? Do they even have a scouting department? You mean to tell me, as I look through this thing right here, y'all done made all them, well, y'all done made, hold on,
Herb Simon believed he could piece together a championship team and let success take care of itself. Instead, the Fever are stuck with hollow promises, shaky signings, and no real winning culture to show for it. All the while, Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's brightest star, can only watch as the cracks within the organization grow wider.
This is the team that has blown double-digit leads all season long. We just lost to the goddamn Washington Mystics. Terrible, man. That is a bad basketball team. They got two young, rising stars. They're rookies. We got dominated by Sonia Citron and Kiki Area-Finn. They was just taking math class and sociology and chemistry 3 months ago. And they came out there and dominated it.
Fans shell out premium prices just to witness Caitlin Clark's brilliance, but the roster around her is nowhere close to meeting her level. The Caitlin Clark effect is undeniable, yet it's being squandered. Under Herb Simon's ownership, the Fever's management is already showing glaring signs of neglect, mismanagement, and a failure to build a true contender.
The bottom line, though, is Caitlin Clark is missing, and that is showing, and I think everybody is missing her, including myself. She has carved out this really big niche in the WNBA. A lot of fans have come to see her, and she unfortunately has just been plagued with injury after injury, and the Indiana Fever have had to try to tread water or keep afloat, and fans are trying not to lose hope until and if she returns, because Caitlin Clark is the reason that a lot of people, myself included, are just so drawn to the WNBA, so drawn to her play style. And I gotta say, I really feel for the rest of the
Herb Simon is back to his familiar playbook, and once again the Indiana Fever's leadership feels more like a let-them-figure-it-out experiment than a carefully crafted plan. He barely opens his checkbook, yet the arena still sells out before he finishes counting the profits. Thanks entirely to Caitlin Clark. On the flip side, ownership treats the team like a vanity project funded with monopoly money, assuming money and luck can replace effort and vision. The result? A franchise desperately leaning on its superstar to carry the entire operation on her shoulders. But here's the harsh truth, no matter how great Clark is, she can't win titles alone. And pretending otherwise is just another recipe for mediocrity.
The process of building a $78 million practice facility, the Indiana Fever consistently draw over 16,000 fans to their home games. The Indiana Fever, amongst the top franchises in the league when it comes to merchandise sales. The Indiana Fever, now you know, marketing campaign. Kelly Krauskopf saying she wants to be the Apple of the WNBA. You would think, after all of these accolades, after all of the speculation, after all of the now you know, you'd think that we'd have a scouting department, right?
Herb Simon entered the Caitlin Clark era acting like instant success was inevitable, only to expose how much he'd cut back on the infrastructure needed to build a championship team. The most frustrating part? Opportunities were wasted left and right. Instead of investing in a top-tier scouting department, hiring elite coaches, and surrounding Clark with championship-level talent, the Fever leaned on bargain bin decision-making and phone-a-friend scouting. The result is a roster built on hope rather than strategy. Squandering Clark's generational impact.
You lying to me. I think they merchandise sales was up 300%. Y'all done made all them millions off CC Effect. And y'all ain't hired no damn scouts. Kayla's in deep trouble. Oh, it's looking real spooky. You mean to tell me y'all done made all the millions, bro, sold all them damn jerseys, and y'all do not have a scouting department? What the fuck? You mean to tell me Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Are you serious?
Herb Simon happily invested in shiny practice facilities while neglecting the human infrastructure required to actually identify talent. Some executives seemed clueless about who they were even signing, lingering outside agent meetings like it was basketball's version of Woodstock, just hoping the echo of competent decision-making might somehow bounce through the concrete and reach the front office.
Hamburg chick, man. You're always picking up these randoms, dog. Like they're going to Walmart. Hey, yo, can you play? All right, I got you. Go on a team. Like, come on, man. I'm sick of these players. We're at the point where you just need a body. But I just hope she puts a better performance than Sims did, because Sims was god-awful. Sims looked like she never played basketball before. She was horrible. Somehow we have Turner on the team. I don't get it. But yeah, this new player, I looked her up. Averaged 6.8 in college. Not impressive, man. I think she's just a bot.
The Fever scouting department? Drop a resume in their office and it would echo like an empty gym. The copy machine in accounting makes more noise than their so-called war room. Let's be honest, they don't have a scouting system, they've got a glorified suggestion box. While other franchises leverage real infrastructure, Indiana is out here borrowing scraps of competence from organizations that actually know what they're doing. This isn't just negligence, it's organizational malpractice. Herb Simon has gone from owner to liability, watching his franchise's potential waste away under his nose. At this point, the WNBA should pay him hazardous duty wages for the damage he's done. Meanwhile, Sophie Cunningham is left wondering why her veteran presence sits wasted on the bench.
We lost by 1 point to them. The third quarter, they went on a 19-0 run. You hear me? Which put them up by 12. By the fourth quarter, they was up by 12 points. That's ridiculous. And then let me say this. What sense does it make for Stephanie Jigsaw White to take out Lexi and Sophie at the same time? You hear me? At the same time. Her rotations don't make no sense to me. And if it don't make sense to me, that allows me to think otherwise. She is fixing these games. The organization is in on it too as well. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, like I said, they just dragging us along to keep making money. Caitlin Clark, aka my precious CC, she ain't coming back this season.
Sophie gets starting minutes here and there, usually buried inside questionable rotations and a halftime show of organizational dysfunction. But here's where it becomes outright criminal. Caitlin Clark goes down, and suddenly the Emperor has no clothes. The very player who turned this franchise into a $78 million phenomenon, selling out arenas and making the WNBA must-watch TV, gets hurt, and the entire house of cards collapses. Not because Clark wasn't extraordinary, not because fans weren't loyal, but because Herb Simon's front office built a Ferrari engine and forgot to include the brakes, steering, or transmission. They bet everything on Clark and left her carrying an incomplete machine.
I think that we'd have some bodies that sole job, the sole purpose, their sole designation within this franchise is just to sit in a dark room watching hours and hours and hours of film of players overseas. You'd think at least that's what Apple would probably do, right? If Apple was running the Indiana Fever, they'd probably invest in something like that.
Look at what happened when Caitlin Clark went down with her groin injury. This wasn't just any setback. It was her third separate injury of the season, each one exposing the ugly truth. This franchise never had a plan B overnight. The Fever went from being talked about as potential contenders to scrambling for 7-day contracts with players they hadn't even scouted. Case in point, Kyra Lambert was signed on a short-term deal, and head coach Stephanie White openly admitted she barely knew anything about the player they had just brought in. That isn't roster management, it's fantasy basketball with real-life consequences. Meanwhile, proven veterans like Sophie Cunningham continue to rot on the bench. She's a tough defender, a clutch shooter, and a player who could steady late-game collapses, yet she's watching valuable minutes slip away as the coaching staff patches together lineups on the fly. This isn't player development, it's organizational malpractice disguised as giving everyone a chance. And then there's the elephant in the room, Brianna Turner. The Fever literally signed her to help with scouting and player evaluation. One problem, they don't actually have a scouting department. So instead of hiring professionals, they're leaning on an active player to handle talent assessment. That's not innovation, it's negligence. It's the equivalent of asking your Uber driver to perform heart surgery because you didn't want to pay for a real doctor.
Right, it's all the above. It's seeing film, watching clips, talking to contacts and connections. Bree and especially has been super helpful in this. She's got a lot of contacts overseas who have seen Kyra, for example, play a lot overseas. Teammates that she's had that are over there that played with her.
Now, it was at that moment right there, everybody antennas went off. She said Bree Turner actually discovered Kyra Lambert. Hold up, wait a minute. How the hell do Bree Turner discover a player? She's no scout. She's no recruiter. How the hell? She's supposed to be focusing on the season of bad she's playing. But y'all got Bree Turner scouting players.
The Fever's front office is in such disarray that when asked about their scouting process, head coach Stephanie White basically described something closer to phoning a basketball-loving cousin for tips. It's all hands on deck. It's seeing film, watching clips, talking to contacts and connections, she said. Translation? We're winging it because Herb Simon never invested in the infrastructure required for a championship-caliber team. And here's the most damning indictment of this entire Simon fiasco. Caitlin Clark is carrying the Fever so completely that her absence literally breaks the franchise. With Clark on the floor, they're 8-5. Without her, they've stumbled to 1-9. Think about that. The most transformative player in women's basketball history, a generational superstar who sells out arenas and shatters TV records, is being failed by an owner treating roster construction like a casual side project. Even worse, Clark's injury situation exposes how dangerously thin the Fever's organizational setup really is. This is a player who never missed a single game in her college career or rookie season, known for legendary durability. Yet in just her second year, she's now facing multiple injuries in different parts of her body. That doesn't just happen by chance, it points to failures in training staff, medical protocols, and load management. Those are the very areas where proper investment separates a stable contender from a team doomed to collapse. Under Simon, the Fever are learning that lesson the hard way.
This Indiana Fever team taking Caitlin Clark serious, taking the window that they have with Caitlin Clark as serious as they possibly can. You'd think that they would invest in some overseas scouting, right? Right. It seems as if the overseas scouting department, some YouTube highlights, some clips, and a couple phone calls with a person on the other end saying, "Trust me, bro, trust me." Hey, is she good? Trust me, bro. Trust me. She's good. Oh, that's all I needed to see here. Is she good? Trust me, bro. Trust me.
When Caitlin Clark went down with her quad injury early in the season, the Fever should have been ready with a contingency plan. Instead, they scrambled. When she returned only to immediately re-injure her groin, that should have been a red flag about rushing players back too quickly. Then came another groin injury, forcing her to miss the All-Star game, hosted in her own arena. That should have been the ultimate wake-up call about flawed medical protocols and reckless player management. But somehow, it gets worse. The Fever began handing out 7-day contracts to players they clearly hadn't scouted. Signing Odyssey Sims made sense, she at least has WNBA experience. But then came Kyra Lambert, a player who had never logged a single WNBA minute, brought in to replace injured veterans Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald. Head coach Stephanie White openly admitted she barely knew anything about Lambert, yet the franchise still committed to her. That isn't strategy, it's chaos. This isn't just bad luck, it's organizational malpractice. You don't wait for your house to catch fire before installing smoke detectors. You don't wait until your star player is injured to build depth, And you certainly don't wait until multiple season-ending injuries to finally think about scouting. By then, it's already too late.
So, Indiana Fever signs another strawberry shortcake Lambert. Her name is Kyra Lambert. She had previous experience playing at Greece. Last time she played college 2001, so she's a little older. Where do we get these randoms from, man? Like, come on. 5'9", strawberry shortcake. So we get another shortcake. Sims and her are about the same height. Dude, they love some shorties, man. Like, we need to get some taller players, man. At least 5'10" and above.
Sophie Cunningham is experiencing this mess from a unique vantage point. She's a veteran who's been part of championship cultures, who understands what winning organizations demand, yet she's stuck in rotations that bury her strengths. Cunningham has consistently proven she can knock down clutch shots, guard multiple positions, and bring the kind of edge needed in pressure moments. Instead of leaning on that reliability, the Fever are rolling out experimental lineups featuring players the team practically just discovered. Meanwhile, the coaching under Stephanie White has spiraled into its own disaster. Fans aren't just questioning, they're demanding answers about her rotations, her in-game adjustments, and her inability to maximize the roster's strengths. Pulling players who are hot, gifting minutes to players who haven't earned them, and running stagnant offensive sets that leave Caitlin Clark standing around like a spectator isn't coaching, it's improvisation masquerading as strategy. Defensively, the cracks are even clearer. The Fever routinely build leads only to watch them vanish due to lazy rotations and an alarming lack of adjustments. Games that should be wins slip into losses because this coaching staff can't finish. And when White is pressed on these failures? Instead of owning strategic missteps, she points fingers at the officiating. That isn't leadership. It's avoidance, and the fans can see it.
Stephanie White, you are supposed to be a defensive coach. We gave away almost 90 points to a team that is like 11th in the league in scoring. It's only like 13 teams. It ain't even that many teams. And they are at the bottom of the league in offense, and we let them come out there and do whatever they wanted offensively. Sonia Citron dominated our wing players. This is embarrassing. Kelsey Mitchell is not a clutch player. When the game is on the line, bro, she just gagged a wide open layup to cut the lead to 1. When the money is on the line in clutch time, you cannot rely on Kelsey Mitchell. This is embarrassing.
Here's the part that should send a chill through every Fever fan. This isn't just about the present. This is the golden window when you build around her, when you maximize the bargain of a superstar on a discount salary and assemble a roster capable of chasing championships. Instead, the Fever are fumbling that chance through sheer organizational incompetence. The evidence is undeniable. When Clark is on the court, Indiana looks capable of beating anyone. The moment she sits, they collapse against teams they should dominate. That's not the foundation of a title contender, it's a dangerous level of dependency on one player. And the solutions aren't some mystery. Investment in infrastructure, in medical staff, in real player development systems. The blueprint for sustained success exists, and it works. The problem is, Herb Simon refuses to follow it, and the Fever are wasting Clark's prime years before they've even begun.
Indiana Fever, get it done. The size we've been needing, a 6'7" tower, man. We need it because it's limited. Get her, put her in the center of the paint, man. Mentor her, whatever y'all need to do. I don't even know how to say her name, man. No disrespect to you, ma'am. But we need you over here in Indiana, man. We need a 6'7" tower because there's not a lot of y'all in the league, man. Fever, damn, man. I don't know how we gonna get it done. I don't know. But get it done, Indiana Fever. This is what we...
The most maddening part of all this is that the resources exist. Herb Simon is worth more than $5 billion. He's already proven he'll spend money. Just look at the shiny new practice facility. But here's the problem, he's investing in the cosmetic stuff, the visible bricks and branding, while ignoring the actual foundation of what builds champions. Caitlin Clark deserves far more than this cut-rate approach. And let's not forget the fans. They're paying premium ticket prices, loading up on merch, and investing their hearts into this team, only to watch ownership squander a generational talent. Right now, it feels less like the Fever are building a contender and more like they're cashing in on the Caitlin Clark effect while it lasts.
The Fever should really consider making a trade, and I'm telling you, get rid of Brianna Turner. I don't know why she's on the team for. She's not significant to the team, so it won't hurt team chemistry. And go after Cardoso. Cardoso hates Chicago Sky. You can see it in her face. I'm telling you, you could reunite her without trading Dantes, by the way. Get Cardoso and Dantes on the same team. They got that Brazilian connection. And you can think about that connection with Aaliyah Boston. Aaliyah Boston and Camilla were both teammates at South Carolina, that Dawn Staley connection. To me, they actually would play well with each other. Think about it.
Here's the blunt truth. Herb Simon is letting the Fever sign whoever happens to be available because he refuses to build the infrastructure that would tell them who they should sign. He's left the coaching staff to make decisions without the analytics, scouting, or developmental systems that winning franchises rely on. That's why you've got veterans like Sophie Cunningham, players who've proven they can perform in pressure situations, getting jerked around in the rotation, while inexperienced stopgaps are handed opportunities they haven't earned. Caitlin Clark's injury saga has stripped away the illusion. She needs a roster constructed with foresight, an organization prepared for adversity, and ownership invested in winning, not just cashing checks off her star power. The clock is already ticking. Clark's rookie contract is a golden window, one the Fever are wasting with indecision and incompetence. And if the on-court product doesn't rise to match the attention she's generated, the fans, who are spending money, packing arenas, and pouring their emotions into this team, won't wait around forever. Championship-level talent deserves championship-level commitment. Right now, Clark has one without the other. If you enjoyed leaving a like and subscribing, more videos are on the screen now.